All right, so we're going to start going over dihybrid crosses. So dihybrid crosses are where you track two genes. So monohybrid is what we've been doing, is where you have one gene or two alleles, and you kind of figure out the percent or probability that the child will get whatever genotype. Right, instead of doing monohybrid crosses, we're going to do dihybrid crosses, and so that's just where we track two genes. So in this example, it says in humans, curly hair is dominant over straight hair, and freckles are dominant over no freckles. And so, and we're going to say the hair is going to be represented by big H for curly and little h for straight, and then big F is freckles, whereas little f is recessive for no freckles. Okay. So, for example, if I have a human who is heterozygous for curly hair, or just heterozygous for hair, and no freckles, what that means is they have big H, little h right here, and then the freckles, they have no freckles, so the only way they can have no freckles is to be recessive. So then I can ask you, what are the possible gametes that can be produced? So what you can do is you can consider, like, what are the possible combinations of this one allele from here and one allele from here. And what I mean is, remember, the parent can only give their child one allele. Like, they can give their child only one H and then one F. And so they can pair up in different combinations. For example, they can give them big H, little f, right? They can give them little h and little f. Those are actually the two possibilities, okay? But if you want another, like, there's four possibilities, right? So it could be big H, little f, little h, little f. And this will actually help. You always want to figure out the four possibilities as well, because it'll help with the Punnett square. Okay. So let's say, let's do another example. So let's just say they're heterozygous. So let's just say they're homozygous. Let's do it here. Homozygous for curly hair and heterozygous for freckles. So homozygous for curly hair, that means they have both dominant alleles. And then the heterozygous for freckles, that means they have dominant and recessive, right? So in this case, the possible combinations, and I would want you to do four. I know there's only two, but so they could be this H with this F, right? It could be this H again with this F. It could be this with this. And this one with that one. Okay, so they have two possibilities, but I just showed you all four. You'll see later why all four are important. Okay, so let's do an example together. So it says, determine the genotypes if one parent is heterozygous for hair texture and homozygous for freckles. So that means they have big H, little h. Sorry, let me put that here. So it says, let's put the parent genotype here. So big H, little h, and homozygous for freckles. And then the second, we're going to cross out with the second parent who is heterozygous for both. So like this. So what would be the possible gametes? Remember, I asked you to do four. So for this parent, they could have big H, big F, big H, big F, little h, big F, little h, big F, right? And then for this guy, they could be big H, big F, big H, little f. Okay, there's four possibilities. So now what we're going to do is you're going to make a huge Punnett square. So instead of a 2 by 2, we're now going to put all the possibilities. So like this. Let me make it so there's a little more room. All right, so And then we're going to do this one here. So these are basically all the probability or possible combinations. Okay, so like this one, like would be like that, this. So you just kind of go in and fill them all. Like this, and then alright, so this is a bit tedious, but this is what you kind of have to do. Now these two are the same, so when you get good at these, you can make different size ones, right? If you wanted to. So sorry. This is like, and this is okay. So it's something like this, right? And then we're going to write out all the possible genotypes. So here, we'll do it by phenotype. So I got to erase this because I'm going to be out of space. So let me just do this real quick. Let me make it a little bigger. All right, so look, they could be, you could either have curly hair with freckles, curly, no freckles, straight with freckles, so straight hair with freckles, and then you could be straight hair and no freckles. So go through this, and you can kind of figure out. So curly with freckles. So curly is dominant, and freckles are dominant. So what I do is I kind of circle each one. So this would have curly hair. This would have curly. This would be curly. Curly hair, curly, 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 curly. This would be curly, right? Curly hair, curly hair. Curly, curly, curly. So if I count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it would be 14 out of 16 are going to be curly freckles. And this one is, this is straight hair, right? So I don't have any curly with no freckles. Straight with freckles would be these two, so 2 out of 16. And then straight no freckles is 0 out of 16. So you just figure out the phenotypes, and then you just, out of 16, how many there are. Now, you could have done this, like, these are the same, right? So you could have just done 2 of them, made a square out of 8, and then done everything out of 8. So you could have done something like that. Okay? All right, so go ahead and try this next one. It says determine the genotypes if one parent has straight hair and no freckles, and the second parent is heterozygous for both hair texture and freckles. So go ahead and try it on your own. You can press pause. So if one parent has straight hair, then it's going to be, straight is recessive, right? And no freckles, so it'll look like this. The second parent is heterozygous, so like this and like this, right? So possible gametes. So you could, here are the 4 possibilities. And then here are that one's this one. Okay, and you could make it now. I'm going to show you a shortcut. Like, you see how these are all the same? So what you could do is like this, and then right? And if you wanted to, you could do it like this. And okay, so then this is out of 4, so it's a 1/4. So let's say, so how many straight? No freckles. So this is going to be straight, no freckles, right? So it's 1/4. How many straight with freckles? So this will be 1/4, and then this would be curly, no freckles. So it'd be here, and this would be curly with freckles. Would be 1/4. So one of the tricks is if you see you have like doubles of stuff, you can eliminate them because it's going to give you the same anyways. Okay.